This morning we are talking to Dr. Homer, who is the president of the Trust for Sustainable Livelihoods. And we're talking to him about Web 2.0, the social media revolution that has taken over the globe, and what that impact is on him, his organization, and on us here in Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome, Dr. Homer.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Let's then talk a little bit about the training that you experienced through that 5-day session on Web 2. How was that experience for you?
It was one of the better workshops I attended in the last 5 years. I really learned a lot, and because it was a hands-on kind of a workshop, not that the facilitators would tell us what to do and we have to listen to them for a whole day, but we were also allowed to experiment and to try and to set up things for ourselves. So I found it very useful.
How has that then influenced your perception or your use of the tools going forward?
Well, for me, the major issue has been how we utilize information technology and how we utilize the Web 2.0 tools. I was not very familiar before the workshop on the range of uses it could be put to, and primarily because we engage with a large amount of stakeholders, rural government agencies, non-governmental organizations, and so on. To me, what we learned provides us, or better equips us, to reach out to these constituents in real time even, and basically foster a sort of more direct engagement with our stakeholders in terms.
What have you been able to do with the training, post the training session? How have you been able to incorporate that in your business life?
With that training, basically, we were able to, when I say we, my organization, the Trust for Sustainable Livelihoods, were able to reach a larger target audience on a range of issues in real time. You know, traditionally people do newsletters to communicate information on their organization and all the wild and wonderful things they're doing. And for us, technology is only wonderful when it works. When it doesn't, it's a frustrating thing. And we find that using, presenting information via YouTube or doing blog spots, I think is the most effective and easiest way to meet to the needs, or to reach out to a basically computer literate audience. And practically everybody has a smartphone these days, well, except me, and can access the information. So what I've done also with young people, I find, who are readily willing to learn new technologies, I was able to train a group of young people who worked at the Ministry of Environment and Water Resources to utilize blog spots and to set up a real-time communication of the activities of the ministry, and also in the promotion of the new draft wildlife policy, to train them to utilize and prepare a YouTube introduction.
You've created with your team a YouTube spot, you've created blog spots. What has been the response to that?
Within 6 weeks, we had about 1,300 people downloading the video. We've also had a lot of favorable comments. We've had 2 unfavorable comments and about more than 20 or so favorable comments. And people would comment, I think, well, they didn't like the music, you know. But in terms of the substance that was portrayed, I think it reached a larger audience in a short space at virtually no cost.
What do you say to others out there who are still skeptical about going this way and the rewards, the benefits?
Several of the people whom have discussed this approach were initially skeptical because they didn't understand what it was. Like me, initially, I didn't understand what it was until I went through the training program. But in the absence of a training program, I think the short videos that to which we were exposed that showed us how to do it, I think getting the opportunity to show them in a few minutes, this is what it's all about, this is how you can use it, and this is how it can affect your business. I think the major thing in terms of further training and orientation, courses are needed, but structure to key target audiences. So if you're doing for the farmers groups, you need to tailor it on how can this benefit the farmer in terms of its marketing, purchasing, and a range of issues. If it's going out to some of the industrialists or the small manufacturing industries, how does that affect their bottom line? How does it increase the market base? How does it increase your exposure to a broader clientele? And these are the things people can identify with. So
what do you think the next steps might be in terms of further awareness.
There's a disconnect somewhere in the system that the policy has not been translated, or people have not been able to interpret the policies that ought to be generated to support the widespread use of IT. I think you need to develop more of an outreach program exposing ministries and private sector and schools as how these technologies can be utilized for the benefits of the public in general, but also in moving ministries towards a more service-oriented thinking in terms of serving the needs of the people rather than serving the needs of themselves.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Homer. It's been a pleasure.